Peace, God. How you doing, brother?
Yeah, man. Ever living, ever present. How are you?
I'm good, God. I'm good, brother. What's on your mind?
Um, we just had a Pan-African conference, and there were a few conversations about this in Ghana the other day. And I think, I'm friends with Tariq. He's a great guy. I'm friends with a bunch of different people, but
Hmm.
I think the rhetoric. I'm not particularly saying that it's massively harmful. I think it's just, we divide ourselves amongst ourselves. And I think I think it's disingenuous to say what African immigrants have done for FBAs, given that you've got a whole tech industry from this war that's killing millions of people in Congo, that's funded by the government of the USA, which black American FBAs are in the army of. There's a lot of, so between 1977 and 2008, there was $938 billion moved offshore from Africa. In 2008, Africa was $252 billion in debt. So you got white folk in your country who are making Africa a net creditor and a net debtor at the
Hmm.
same time as basically the device that we're speaking on, the lights in your house, and a lot of the things that we take for granted now, that's all come from Africa. um Now it's not FBAs that have mines in Israel. Sorry, it's not FBAs that have mines in Sierra Leone. The biggest diamond mine in Sierra Leone is owned by an Israeli. It's not FBAs who have mines in South Africa or in Congo, but you are tacitly complicit in the benefit of that phenomenon that's happening. And that's why I built a village in Congo, because I was like, well, I've got a phone. So I'm part of this economy of genocide where 10 million people in the Congo have been killed in the last 20 years. So I think it's disingenuous where I was speaking to Burner Boy about this the other day. He was like, the reason why we ain't linking the way that we should be linking is because we've decided that there's a disconnect between us when really we are all, in the eyes of Europeans, Arabs, Chinese, Indians, doesn't matter, FBA, Hebrew Israelite, Nation of Islam, Afro Caribbean, man from Ghana or a man from Congo. We are all
Hmm.
Negroes in their eyes. And I think the thing that makes the most sense, while you guys get your reparations and you get what is due, you also create, and that's what we did this conference, and Chance and Vic and Dave Chappelle and Erica Badu and everybody came over to Ghana to create a creative line of communication through music. But I'm like, we need to create, and that's why we're going to organize another conference, which is going to be a business trade fair between Black diaspora and Ghana, because I think that the only way that we're going to be able to not rely on white people is to have our own trade directly with primary and secondary economy. Like FBA should be manufacturing products from Africa, because why is it that like, what is it, 17% of the world's oil right now is coming from Nigeria? Nigerians are having that oil taken out, then it's being refined, it's being sold to y'all in LA or Chicago or wherever, and then it's being sold back to Nigeria at a price that they can't afford. Really, it should be black people that are manufacturing that oil and then selling it to ourselves. And so I just think that I think a lot of the conversation of the FBA is of people who aren't coming to Africa. They're not trying to create relationships. And the thing is, I was raised Rasta. So I was raised Afro-Caribbean. I was born in Barbados. My family's Bajan in Jamaica. I went every single year on the march for reparations from the British government for like 10 years. We put in letters, we put in petitions, we got lawyers, we did all this stuff. And then one day I was just like, yo, fuck this. Because really, I'm just begging for money from white folk. Even if I'm owed that money, there's white folk
Hmm.
right now turning up in uh, Chad, Central African Republic, with no money in their pockets and exporting bauxite, exporting aluminum, exporting gold, and making millions and billions over a few years, where we're trying to like scrape together some dignity and some organization to just get a few million when you know that the economy of the black folk in North America is a multi-trillion-dollar economy. So it's like, I feel like that economy should be invested into developing infrastructure in Africa, which would then benefit you guys back in North America, because all the white folk that are running your country have businesses and are taking resources out of Africa. So if you're not involved in that supply chain, then you're always going to be underneath them, because it's like segregation at this point, it doesn't seem like it's about to happen or work. And I think this digital revolution that's happening, we all need to acknowledge that this digital revolution that's happening is causing a genocide in Congo. And, you know, my friends are talking about crypto and all of this stuff that sounds good. But the reality is that I know that if you was over in Congo with a mine, you wouldn't be killing people to get some minerals. You'd be paying them fair and getting the shit out and manufacturing. And so I'm saying all that to say is that I think it's the divisiveness that's being created, because it's easy to create, you know, polarity. There's some people that are really invested in fuck African immigrants, but it's kind of like the same rhetoric that comes from white racists. And there's some Africans that are really invested in they are better than black Americans. Like one of my friends is Jamaican, got with a Nigerian, and the Nigerian family was like, nah, I don't want a non-Nigerian in our bloodline, in our household. I don't want to diluted black. But I just think two men who are in a burning building shouldn't stop to argue.
Let me say this, brother. Number one, I respect you. I respect what you do over in Africa. Let's be clear. Like, number one, we're talking about the disrespect of black immigrants over here to foundational black Americans. There are not millions of foundational black Americans in other countries disrespecting the native population while simultaneously eating off the population. That's number one. We got a unique problem over here. Number two, when
you come
like,
to Africa,
give me an example. Give me an example of millions. Ghana. Give me an example of millions, because there's millions of black immigrants over here. Give me an example of millions of foundational black Americans.
In 2019, 1.2 million visas were issued to Ghana from North America, just North America. And when the people came over here, there was a lot that was peaceful and calm and cool, but there was definitely an air of, we're better than you. We need houseboys. We need drivers. Like these guys are ignorant. They're stupid. They can't read, and they were underpaying them. So it does actually go both ways, where there ends up being neo-colonialism with a brown and black face on it, just because the people coming here haven't been educated by Africans. They've been educated by white folk how to think about Africans.
But this the thing, brother. There are not visas, and you're saying America. That's not all foundational black Americans. That's a multitude of people. You see what I'm saying? That's a multitude of people. There are what, 15, 20,000 so-called foundational black Americans living in Ghana? I think that's the last number I looked at. There's a million, there's over a million Haitians living here. There's over a million Jamaicans living here. There's damn near a million Nigerians at this point living here. The numbers are completely different. We can't compare a handful of black Americans to millions of non-FBAs living over here, some which work to undermine us simultaneously. Number two, I think we have to talk about. Hold on. Number two,
millions are
it's millions of black immigrants living over here in America. Is that true or untrue?
No, I get that. I said there's a millions disrespecting you. That's what I was asking.
We could argue it's within the culture. We can argue it's within the culture. It's a consistent presence of it. And many people are in high-ranking positions as well. Also, I think there is a lack of appreciation for what foundational black Americans have done by themselves. You said the reason why we have a light bulb. The reason why we have a light bulb is because Louis Latimer, a foundational black American, who created the filament for the light bulb.
I know that, but where did you get the minerals?
Right, but you said it came from the Congo and the cocaine.
No. I'm saying the minerals. I'm not saying the invention. I'm saying that there is a genocide happening, and the minerals that you are using right now to speak on this phone, and I am using to speak on this phone, people are dying
Mhm.
for every day. Children are mining this stuff.
So what minerals came out the Congo that was used for Louis Latimer to create the filament for the light bulb?
The copper.
The copper. So it was no copper over here.
Well, if you look
I
at
mean,
if
like,
you
what
look
are
at
we?
if you look at the biggest copper exporter in the entire world, it's Tanzania and Zambia. So I don't know whether or not at the time the most of the copper was coming from there, but it is now, and it has been for the last 60 years.
Okay, but that Louis Latimer did that more than 60 years ago. That's what I'm saying. Like,
Okay.
so like I'm saying, like, there is every time I feel like foundational Black Americans do something, if we're not kissing Africa's ass or if we're not paying homage to Africa, it's y'all got that. That's us. That's us. And this is part of I feel like our problem we're dealing with. Every time it's something we do that's positive, give credit to Africa. When we do something that's negative or something that's happening that's negative, y'all the reason why America's over here doing this. Y'all participated in this. Y'all are doing this. Y'all keep your treasures and then you dump the trash on us. And that's one I feel like one of the big problems over here that we've been constantly dealing with. When a Nigerian comes over here and does something great, he graduates from Harvard, he comes over here with an invention, he's a doctor, PhD. That credit goes to Nigeria and the Nigeria community. Nobody bashes it, nobody says nothing. The moment that Nigerian does something bad, he commits an act, he commits a rape or a murder, then that's that Black American culture. This was the whole point of
I
us
mean,
acknowledging our lineage to say, hold
what's
on now, you want to take
what's
the
the
credits and your treasures for your nationality, and then when it comes to the trash, that gets dumped on Black Americans.
What's the difference? Because you look like you're from Benin, you know, brother. I don't know if you've done your genealogy, but I've traveled all across Africa, and the thing that confuses me is there's many people who are like they're Cherokee, they're Chickasaw, they're Gullah, they're this and that, and I'm like, well, you don't really do any of the rituals, you don't learn the language, but like you're saying I'm not African, I am this, but then even when you are that, it's like you're not really, because you're not really in the culture. You kind of just like
I
making up
don't
your.
think you have to be in the culture. There's a lot of people who we know over here, their parents are Ugandan. They don't practice no Ugandan traditions. They act just like Black Americans. I can argue Burna Boy acts like a Black American. I can argue Wizkid acts like a Black American. I can argue Davido, they dress, they act like us. There's people, Kodak Black, he's Haitian. You only time you see him throwing up a Haitian flag is, every now and then, but he's mimicking us. He's acting like us. He's speaking like us. He's talking like us. So I mean, I don't think that takes away from who you actually are. I don't think you have to practice. A lot of people don't practice their traditional religions and they still are of that. They still Kodak's still Haitian. Burna Boy still, I don't know exactly where he's from, but he's still
It's from
African.
Nigeria.
He's from Nigeria, okay?
I
But
mean,
if I saw Burna Boy, the way he dressed, the way he acts, the way he does his stage performance, I would say he's a Black American until he opens up his mouth. So I mean, we don't take that away from them.
I mean, kind of not. Because have you been to Nigeria before? They might have been doing that since. Because remember, we was all colonized by white people, whether it was
Of
white
course.
British or white Americans. So when we're wearing suits or when we're wearing their shoes, unless it's something that we've specifically designed and created and that is completely a part of our culture. Like, we didn't invent Nike. We made it cool, but we didn't invent it, right? So if Burna Boy is wearing Nike and if, I don't know, Kyrie is wearing Nike, that's still two Black folk wearing white stuff, making it Black because we're wearing it. Like, not everybody's Ye and is making up their own stuff. And so I think do you know what it is? Most people who come to Africa, they then have a different perspective. Like, for instance, I've read many books written by African Americans. A lot of FBAs don't read books written by African authors. That's just one disconnect that I see that's often, because it's like they don't seek validation in anything African, because they're like, well, we're American, so we don't have anything to do with them over there. But it's like, in this current time where I'm telling you for a fact, 70% of the world's coltan and 80% of the world's cobalt is coming from Congo, which means that you can have cars and means that you can have phones. We are essentially there's nobody self-made. Everybody is interdependent. Everybody is reliant on other countries to be able to exist in this current context. So it's like, why would we that look similar to each other? We all listen to similar music. We all listen to the drum. We season our food. We have Afro hair. Why would we not work with each other to make
Because I think the mindset is different, brother. I don't think there is this big wave of people trying to work with us. I think people are trying to benefit off of us, but I don't think it's this wave of actually trying to work with us. Like we always talk about the resources of Africa. We talk about, you say, light bulbs, X, Y, and Z. Then why isn't that all over Africa? Why is most of Africa without electricity? We look at because
of colonialism. Because colonialism was as bad as slavery. It's just
right. But my problem with that is, brother, not to cut you off, but y'all don't give us that same excuse. When it comes to us, y'all say we participated just with the white folks in colonizing y'all. Y'all don't allow us to say colonization or the CIA. Because this is some things we look at as Black Americans. Y'all talk about us. Y'all say we in the most powerful country in the world. We got $1 trillion spending economy. We look at y'all and say, damn, y'all are 95% of the population in Nigeria. Why ain't you controlling Nigeria? The resources are underneath your feet. Why aren't you controlling that? Don't come tell me about colonization and the white man, because you don't allow me to do that.
No, but I do, because American imperialism. COINTELPRO was literally created to stop African Americans or Black Americans communicating and building trade relationships with Black Africans. So white folks saw the danger in that. And then we're like, yeah, we ain't trying to work with you. But your government, of which most Black people in North America are paying their tax dollars to, 1/3 of that is in defense. That then goes to the American military industrial complex, which then comes and colonizes Africa, right? So that colonization that you're involved in or tacit complicit in is, in the 60s and the 70s, Africans was like, we need to get white folk out of Africa. And for the last 50 years, just like what happened with Haiti, Africa's been crippled because of it. Because imagine, I know that the violence is bad in Chicago. I know that the violence is bad in Atlanta sometimes. But there's levels to violence. Like, I've been in Congo and seen 15 people just get murdered in front of me like that. And why is that happening? That's happening because minerals are up the road. And then white folk in North America are like, we need those minerals. Let's give the Rwandans some money. We'll make it look like a civil war. The Rwandans will come in. They'll kill everybody in that area. And then a white foreign multinational American company will come in and start mining that, sending it back to North America. I think the only thing that's different between us is a passport and who we were colonized by. I don't think that our struggles are different, so much so that it's too difficult to work together. Because I was speaking to Tariq about this. FBA is a very new thing, right? FBA, ADOS, even if it has been 10, 15 generations of y'all being there, it's still a new phenomenon, like a new psychological process for people to be able to understand. So when you're saying, I heard you saying to the brother earlier, we're tired of educating y'all, we're trying to get stuff done. Well, it's still a very new thing. And I think that when I bring Tariq to Ghana and we do business together, because that's the other thing, is like, if we ain't getting money together, we can argue all day. If we're getting money together, we have to argue differently, because it's going to be debate, because we all want the train to go in the same direction. And I just feel like we're missing a trick where, the only reason why, not the only reason, but a major part of the reason why Black Americans are successful is because at the same time as being abused by white racism and white systems and structures, you also benefit from white racism and white systems and structures. You do, because how are you able to get a $1 trillion economy, which is the biggest Black economy that's ever existed? How are you able to get that without white imperialist systems powering and driving that, because blacks in other countries don't have that, because they ain't got the same amount of leverage, because they ain't got the same amount of access to capital, because they ain't got the world's biggest military colonizing the resource.
Okay, let me interject, brother. You don't have that because you ain't trying to. The resources are underneath your feet.
Right.
The white man has to literally come and say, "Hey, Mbuke, step aside real quick. Let me get these diamonds from underneath your feet." I'm frustrated when I hear that
No.
from
They don't
non-black
do that.
Americans. Hold
Let
on,
me just
brother.
let me
Let me
just cut
build.
you,
I let you
because
build, though, brother. I let you
I've been
build.
seeing people
I let you
I've been seeing
build, brother.
people
Let
get
me
killed.
build.
No, but listen, I've been seeing
I let
people
you
get killed.
build, though, brother. Let me build.
There's no step aside. It's we're
No,
killing
no,
it.
no, no, no.
That's
Because
what I've been
I
seeing.
was hosting a live and I allowed you to come on, brother. Let me build. I didn't jump on your live. I allowed you to come on my live. Let me build. What I'm saying is the greatest resource America has ever used ain't the coltan from the Congo. It ain't the diamonds from the Congo. It ain't gold from Africa. It's us. Our free labor built America. When you say, why is America this? It's because of that free labor. We were the greatest resource. We are still the greatest resource. Gold and coltan by itself don't do shit. It don't build shit. Somebody has to put it together. We were the minds putting it together. Gold by itself is just gold. It don't build buildings. It don't pave roads. It don't build cities and X, Y, and Z. We were the ones doing that. When y'all say that somehow everything that America has done and everything America has built came from the resources of Africa, we are that resource. We're the greatest resource. Always have been in this country. That's what I'm saying. Go ahead.
They're gonna love my resume, but I gotta find the right word. Not synergy. Cahoots? Ugh, I need a little help. Oh yeah.
And for instance, the reason why North America is a nuclear superpower right now is because uranium and plutonium comes from Congo. There's a book that you can read called Spies in the Congo. North America wouldn't be a superpower and wouldn't be able to defend its resources and be getting bombed like all the other countries that are getting bombed right now and attacked without these resources that are coming from Africa. Do you agree or disagree that you need to have nuclear weapons to be a superpower?
Yes.
Right.
I do.
So I'm saying that there's not a single in Africa, in the whole of Africa, there's not a single nuclear weapon, but the minerals come from here. And when you were saying like that step aside thing, I've literally seen people be murdered in front of my eyes. It's not step aside, it's we're murdering everybody, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's people who are invading, murdering everybody so that they can then take this stuff out. And I'm just saying that you guys should be in Africa mining, should be in Africa, because you're already getting benefits of the resources. So rather than cut out the middleman, cut out the white man, cut out the Chinaman, and come and build with the people direct, and then there wouldn't be all of these human rights violations and all of this black murder. Because I know FBAs ain't into black murder of Africans, because I ain't seen anybody calling for that type of rhetoric. But white people are just like, yeah, these Africans are they're supposed to be dying. Listen, I've got to jump off. We'll have a longer conversation about this some other time, but I'm like managing a bunch of shit. I've got a bunch of projects that I'm doing right now. But yeah, I definitely think that we have more in common than we do that divides us. And if you looked at what Malcolm X was trying to do with his organization of Afro-American Unity, that's the way to be able to properly engage with Africa, where y'all are united there so you can be united with Africa and everybody can make money. Peace.